Hi guys, welcome back to another video in this channel. Today we're going to be exploring a very nice and cool topic. Someone suggested this in the comments from last video and I want to make sure to cover it because it's a really important thing. By the way, thank you everyone for all of the kind comments in yesterday's video. I know there was a special video, a little bit different from what we usually do, but I really enjoy sharing a little bit of my my space and my life with you guys. So yeah, let's go. Let's talk about IK versus FK. So this is going to be a short video. It's just a quick overview of the two systems and a quick way in how we can actually like create a quick like a FK or a IK rig. Okay, so a lot of you might be familiar with this arm right here. This is from our rigging course, and as you can see, I've actually divided it into a couple of pieces. Let's call this claw, let's call this meat, and let's call this like base. And I'm actually gonna control D, duplicate them, and I'm gonna move them down. So let's start with FK, which is the most simple type of like a rigging that we have. FK stands for forward kinematic, and it means that the movement is going to be moving from like an origin point forward, okay? So in this case, the origin point is going to be down here. And when you create bones, like if we go here to the rigging section and I go into my joint creation tool, I can create one bone, two bones, and then three bones. Let's turn on X-ray so that we can see them. I'm not seeing them. They're there. They're super small. Did I have them? Oh, yeah. I have them hidden. There we go. So, yeah, you can see them right there. I'm going to grab all of the bones, and I'm going to change the radius to something like 2 or, I don't know, 10 so that we can see them. So this chain that we just created, this is called an FK chain because the movement will propagate from the parent joint, which is this one, all the way to the lower joints. And this thing that I have right here, this is perfectly fine for a very simple rig here inside of Maya. Not for games, but if I want to rig this like a robot arm with just a very simple FK effect, it's just a matter of grabbing this piece right here, grabbing the bone and parenting, grabbing this piece right here, grabbing the bone and parenting with my letter P on my keyboard, and then grabbing the bone and parenting. Now, as you can see, each bone in the hierarchy, in the chain, has its own geometry assigned to it. And if we were to move the joint, since it's parented, it will move all of the joint. So this right here that we're seeing, this is a forward kinematic effect, okay? So if we want to move, let's say we want to move the claw from this point, like up here, we would need to first move the base section, this one right here, and then we would need to move the middle section, and then finally move the claw section, right? So forward kinematic is really cool because it allows for a very like controlled and like manageable motion, right? It's very exact because you're gonna be moving it segment by segment. However, it lacks certain flexibility in other things that FK is really good at. So now let's move down here for the FK, for the IK, sorry, the IK joints. So the IK joints stand for inverse kinematic, and as the name implies, the way they're going to be moving is going to be inversed to the way that the forward kinematic one works. So the easiest way to create an IK joint or chain is to have three joints. Very important to have three joints attached to a position, and then you're going to go into your rigging options, skeleton, and you're going to select create IK handle. And if you create an IK handle from the first joint to the last joint, now what you're going to get is this little handle right here, and this handle is now what's going to be controlling the whole motion. That's the most important part of the IK rig, because instead of having to move every single part here on the forward kinematic effect, we're going to be moving it from the little handle here. So where we move the handle, that's where the joints are going to be moving. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to grab that geometry, parent it right there, grab this geometry, parent it right there, and finally grab this geometry and parent it right there. So now if I grab the IK handle and I move it around, the arm is going to move around. So as you can see, it allows me for a more dynamic range of motions, if you wish, because instead of having to worry about how these two joints are going to be like moving along, I just position the claw where I want it to be, and that's it. Now, as you can see, this does not actually change the joint, so I could actually go here to the claw itself and then move it, and then keep on moving like the joint. So you could animate those two things. And of course, when we build a rig, there's a lot of controllers and other stuff that we add to make sure that we have the full control of the objects. But this is the general idea between, or the general difference between an FK joint and an IK joint. The FK will move the element forward like this, like one section, then the second section, and then the third section. And the IK will use this IK handle to move it along. Now, there's one very important thing that the IK handle needs for it to work like properly. Well, first of all, you can see that my joints are not exactly where they're supposed to be. That's actually fine. I can just, in this case, since this is not skinned, I can just move the arm like to the center, and it will work just fine. This is, of course, not the best way to do it, but just for the example, it's gonna work just fine. So one of the problems that the IK handle has is stabilization, right? Because it needs to follow, or it's trying to follow like a plane when it does this sort of like rotations. But if I start moving this to other directions, you're gonna see that the elbow right here, like the position where this thing is bending, might go to directions that I don't want it to go. Maybe I want to keep this thing here, but I would like to keep the elbow on this side, like twist the arm around, right? That's something that we very commonly do with characters. And with this one, no problem. I just move the joints exactly how I want them to, and I'm gonna create the effect. But with this one, it's not as easy to control, right? That's where something called the Pullback Tree comes into play. Okay, so let me go back here. Again, for those of you who have seen our course, you guys are aware of what I'm about to explain. But for those of you that have never seen this, a pullback tree, I'm just gonna create here a little locator, which is gonna work as my pullback tree. A pullback tree is a connection that happens between the IK handle and something. It can be a curve, it can be a group, it can be a locator, like it can be anything. And it's just a way to stabilize itself. Think about it like a stabilization, something to stabilize with, okay? So the IK handle is always trying to like get the shape that you're going for, and it will try its best to align this thing to wherever it can. However, if we want to make sure that this thing is always aligned to a point, we can select the locator or the point that we want to be like the anchor point, and then select the IK handle. And in the constraint menu, we can select this thing called a pullback tree constraint. And the pullback tree constraint, as you can see there, will create something invisible that we don't see. This is just a connection. And now, wherever I move this thing, it will always try to point the corner arm, like this point right here, to where that little place is. I'm not sure why we're getting those like super big joints. That's a little bit weird. Probably like a display issue or something. But see how it always tries to keep this thing facing to that point. And if we grab that point, we can actually move this point around. So whenever you use a rig, if you've used a rig before for arms or for legs, you're usually gonna see like the knee or the elbow controllers, and it's usually something like this. You're gonna have like a controller that moves the wrist, and you're gonna get your IK effect, and then you're gonna have another little element that's gonna move the elbow so that you can twist or bend it in different directions. And that's it. That's pretty much the basics of forward kinematic and inverse kinematic. There's of course a couple of other things, like there's a splines and other elements with IK splines and stuff. But for the very basics of rigging, that's what you need to know. Forward kinematics moves the movement from the center out, and inverse kinematics moves the animation or the character from like outside of the action towards the inside of the action. Okay, so which one is better? It really doesn't matter, because when you export this into a game or into render, of course, no one's gonna know like which system did you use. There are certain movements that are easier to animate with IK, and there are certain movements that are easier to animate with FK, but that's all gonna depend on the pipeline. Usually rigs have the option to switch between forward kinematic and inverse kinematic. We do that in the course, by the way. So yeah, it's all a matter of what the animators are going for. And actually, I think I can... Yeah, let me show you something real quick. So we're actually working on a little like project right now, and we are rigging a couple of characters. And most of the characters, they're very simple, very cartoony looking characters. They don't have as many FKs or IKs because they're gonna have like very soft movements. So even though we could make the rigs super complex, we can also keep them like really simple. Let me show you this one. Yay! This one's like a little cartoon raptor. So this one right here is all FK. Every single piece is FK except for the feet. So for instance, you can see here, we have the little movement right here. The tail, like all of this, like links for the tail. It's like the arm, it's just more pieces to the arm. Instead of having like 3 sections, it's 5 sections. And it allows me to have like the little like tail movement. The neck and the head, FK as well, as you can see right there. So yeah, FKs are really useful. If you don't have a lot of time to work on something, FK is the best way to go. And it's the default way to go. When you create a chain, they're automatically set to FK. So you're gonna be doing this. However, as I mentioned, there are a couple of things like the legs right here that work a little bit better if you're using an IK effect, right? In this case, I move the foot up, and everything else on the character moves with it. So yeah, that's the basic, guys. Hopefully you guys like the video. I know this is a simple short one. I just wanted to have this one out there in case anyone's looking about the difference between IK and FK. Well, this is it. If you like it, make sure to leave a like, share, subscribe, and tomorrow we're gonna be back with something really special, something that a lot of people have been asking for. We're gonna be talking about trim sheets, which I know are a little bit like tricky or maybe difficult to grasp your mind around, but they're actually quite helpful. So I'm gonna show you a quick example about those. Make sure to tune in tomorrow, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.